episode of The Young Turks is brought to you by Netflix. Go to netflix.com/TYT for your free trial membership. ESPN announcer Ron Franklin was pulled off the Saturday edition of the Fiesta Bowl radio program. Don't know what that is. Sounds terrible, but apparently people listen to it.
No, it's a big bowl game, the Fiesta Bowl. I don't know why you think that sounds terrible, but yeah, it sounds a little questionable the way you read it.
Okay.
Anyway,
he was pulled off the program because prior to going on air, he had a meeting with two of his male colleagues and one of his female colleagues. The female colleague is Janine Edwards. The male colleagues are Ed Cunningham and Rod Gilmore. Now, Rod Gilmore's wife just got elected as mayor of Arcadia, California. So they were having a discussion about that during the meeting. And Janine decided that she wanted to jump in the conversation and share her thoughts, right? And this is what Ron Franklin said back to her. "Why don't you leave this to the boys, sweet cakes?"
Oh, damn! That ain't right! Okay.
So Janine Edwards responds, "Don't call me sweet cakes. I don't like being talked to like that." And he responded, "Okay then, a-hole."
Wow.
Oh,
the gentleman is wrong. The gentleman will sit.
Okay, damn, that ain't right, man. Look, because, first of all, there's some great irony here because they're talking about how a woman got elected mayor. You know, it happens to be one of their wives, right? And now, you can say sweet cakes, that's, you know, old school, and first of all, you're on dicey ground the minute you go to sweet cakes, because that's so old school, it's kind of like Chinaman, okay? But once you go over the top and, like, tell her to butt out sweet cakes.
leave this to the boys.
Oh, no,
That's
no.
saying you are not intelligent enough, you are not smart enough to engage in this conversation. So leave it to the boys because we're superior.
Guilty. Guilty, there's no way.
And I agree with you. There are some men who still use words like sweet cakes or hun, honey, sweetie, things like that. And there are women who take offense to it. But me personally, I don't. I think it's fine.
Sweetie, hun, I think those are a million times more benign, right? Sweet cakes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But there are guys out there that are super old school. So they will use terms like that. And you just got to brush it off your shoulder. I guess it depends on the context of the conversation.
Right. And by the way, sweet cakes, I think, borders on sugar tits.
Oh, that's what I was about to. I mean,
Okay,
I
Mel
prefer
Gibson's
sugar
good.
tits, but
Okay. But anyway, so just so you know that this wasn't an accident, right? It turns out he'd gotten in trouble for this before, doing almost the same exact thing, where he talked to a sideline reporter named Holly Rowe, and during a Purdue game where she said, "Hey, listen, you know, they're using the timeouts when they were behind 49-21 because they want to stay in, you know, even though they're not going to win, they want it to be competitive, etc." Which I actually agree with her on. Ron Franklin told her, "Holly, it's not giving up. It's 49-21, sweetheart."
yeah, he was being patronizing, condescending. Yeah, not okay.
No. So now the question is, are they going to suspend him or not? Are they going to fire him? They pulled him from one of the games. They couldn't find a replacement or not quick enough to pull him from the other game, etc. And look, you know, I always feel terrible saying somebody should be fired. So I don't know if I go that far. But they got to pull him aside and be like, "Hey, listen, dude, I mean, at the very least, first of all, indefinite suspension or something. And dude, we can't have this, man. What are you, crazy? Why are you telling your fellow employee this incredibly demeaning? How can you not understand it's demeaning?"
Right. I think it is difficult to fire him or not, right? It's a really hard question to answer. But you got to keep in mind that you want to create a work environment where all of the employees get along with one another, right? There can't be any animosity between people. There can't be any disrespect like that. I think respect is the most important thing. You don't have to necessarily like someone, but you have to respect them. So the fact that he has shown disrespect toward female colleagues not once but twice, that speaks volumes. So I hope they take that into consideration.
Right, and he got in trouble before for that, and he did it again anyway, right? So that's a pretty bad strike against him. And to give you one last analogy to see you get a sense, like if you do it for women in the context of sports, I think a lot of people think like, maybe, right? And that ain't right, because now imagine if he did it on the basis of race, right? Like they have an Asian sideline reporter, and he's like, "Hey, listen, Steve, leave this up to the big boys, okay? No Chinaman here." Okay, he would be instantly fired, right?
Right.
Instantly, right? So Here we're having a conversation because it's men and women, and sweethearts or sweet cakes is not as bad as Chinaman, but in this context, it's pretty close.
Yes, agreed.
Are you pulling the trigger? Would you fire him?
I don't know if I would fire him. I think that it's likely that I would, but it's not guaranteed. I would definitely pull him aside and be like, dude, what are you doing? He'd definitely get a suspension.
JR and Jesus, real quick, what do you guys think?
No, the suspension thing, and then he's got to figure it out. And really, he's on zero chances. Anything slight after having the full-on conversation, and even and you have to gauge the kind of conversation you're having if he's really listening to you. Because sounds like he doesn't listen to anybody.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Exactly. No, I 100% agree. Like, you're on massive strike too. Now we're not on zero tolerance. We gave you massive tolerance. Now you're on the thinnest possible ice. So just watch your shit, dude. Okay. But if in the middle of the conversation he's like, "Oh, come on, man, we got all these chicks running up and down the sideline," I'm like, "Okay, dude, you're gone. You're gone.
Out."
Okay, we can't have it. That's crazy. Get a load of Netflix. They deliver the movie to your house, no late charges, free shipping.
You can watch thousands of movies or TV shows straight on your PC or on your television through a gaming console.
Netflix.com/TYT. Free trial membership. You get Netflix all over you.